Oh dear, what a sad sight, but an all too familiar one. Your pride and joy has been nicked and you feel sick to the stomach. Well, bike theft and organised bike theft is a big problem, but the police down in Northampton have been doing their bit to try and help stamp it out, and they launched Operation Spanner.
So Operation Spanner was a autocrime initiative. It started in October and November of '96, and we were looking at targeting known autocriminals on our area, the northern area of Northamptonshire Police. We were actually doing a search warrant on a known criminal who had handled stolen property in the past, and we actually found in his kitchen, hidden behind a freezer, a CBR 600 engine.
Right. Which is this thing here?
That's right.
Is this one here?
That's the one.
On closer inspection and dragging the freezer out of the way, you had a look at this?
I had a look at it, and
what made you think that that lump was dodgy?
I was drawn straight away to the engine number, and I looked at that and I thought that doesn't look genuine Honda to me, just in my own experience. Right. Checked with Honda UK, that particular number they've stamped in had never been issued. Right. That gave us enough grounds, what we call reasonable suspicion, to go and arrest him.
Right, and that led you to other people within this very organised ring.
That's right.
Who were pinching performance sports bikes.
That's right, yeah, you've got it.
Why were they pinching, why them particular types of bikes?
Well, the 600s, as you know now, very popular range, a lot of them sold. Right. So, one, there are a lot of those parts about. Yeah. There is the salvage about as well, i.e. because there's so many more of them on the road, unfortunately people have accidents, so there's more frames kicking about and engines kicking about that have come from crash bikes. Right. What the actual professional thief wants, he wants a legitimate document.
Yes.
So the way he goes about getting that is he goes to a motorcycle breakers, pays £1,000, which is a kind of an average figure, for a frame. Could be accident damaged, could have minor damage to it that they could build up from. Right. But the important bit to him is that registration document. Yeah,
he gets that with the frame, doesn't he? That's quite legitimate. They're quite legal to do that.
Yeah, it's quite legal to do that. Once they've got that, they know what the engine and frame numbers relating to that original machine are. Yeah. They can steal a bike, the exact same type of model, and they can then transfer the details from the legitimate document they've purchased onto a stolen machine.
So they finish up with a nicked bike with numbers that match the logbook which they have got with their name and address on it, and it all looks perfect.
That's right, yeah. Sometimes they will register them to themselves, sometimes they won't bother.
Right. So these guys knew what they were doing. I mean, how did they get through all the locks and alarms and
That's right, yeah. People that we've spoken to, once we've managed to find the owners, have said, yeah, I had a real good quality lock and alarm system on my bike, but that didn't seem to deter them, particularly if they were intent on getting it away. Right. What we have learnt as the inquiries progressed on is that you put a nice expensive lock on your bike, they'll come along and they'll cause some damage to the lock mechanism, which makes it difficult for when you come back as the owner to ride your bike away. Yeah. Okay. Right. You have to cut the lock off. Yeah. As an owner, and we can all be guilty of it, you'll probably go and buy another expensive lock to put on your bike, but probably only once. As soon as you reduce the security to your machine and put a cheaper lock on it, they have it away. So they pick a machine that they particularly want. That's right. I mean, they can even follow you home, can't they? Find out where you live. That's right. Target it in your own garage. That is exactly what they will do. I mean, we all like to clean our bikes, polish them, leave them on the top of the drive. We're advertising where we've gone. Yeah, look at my nice bike. That's right. Yeah. They'll drive around, see something that matches the logbook they've got, and then they're in there. So how did you catch them? I know you're not going to give me any trade secrets, but they must have done something that I don't know, made a mistake, if you like. The big mistake was they became complacent. They were keeping hold of the property. They were ringing the details and keeping the bikes for themselves, and that's how we've caught them, basically, because they are still in possession of stolen property, which we've been able to trace back. And talking about that, being able to trace it back, the one that you had the most success with, or instant success with, was the CBR 600. The CBR 600 again, yeah. Because it was data tagged. Yeah. Yeah. So that could be, well, almost the answer. The group were professional. They were taking data tags off the machines, or they tags that are the electronic tags they put on, they will throw those parts away. Yeah. But the one thing with DataTag is that you can identify the bike in so many different places over the machine. Yeah. Hopefully they'll miss one, and that was what they did. They missed the DataTag, which led us identify that bike straight away. And this is the first thing that many thieves see on a bike: a DataTag sticker to say it is tagged. Phil Kibler from DataTag. Your system was obviously a great aid to the police in this particular investigation. So how was it able to identify the bike? How does it work?
Well, at the heart of the DataTag system is this little chip, about the size of a grain of rice, and this chip is actually a miniature radio transmitter. When it's interrogated with this special scanner, it gives off a unique ID number. And we use 5 of these chips and its slightly bigger brother that's about the size of an aspirin into major components on the motorcycle. They will uniquely identify the bike, so when the police interrogate it, even if the normal identifiers are removed, still by cross-referencing in our DataTag computer system, they can tell the original bike's identity and the owner's identity.
Right, so 5 of those in the bike, so you obviously, you've worked out the best places to put them. Where do they go?
Certainly, we've chosen 5 of the most expensive modules on the bike. So we took the wheels, the frame, the fuel tank and the seat.
Right, so I mean, I think most people know, it's obvious, one of them you can inject into the foam in the seat, no problem.
That's right.
In the fuel tank, inside the fuel tank?
Yep. This one, about the size of an aspirin, is covered in epoxy resin and just hooked up under the filler cap into the fuel tank. Very easy to fit. The only way of removing it once the glue's dried is to cut the fuel tank open, no residual value in the part.
Right, and then the wheels?
Wheels, fortunately on a modern motorcycle, the wheels tend to be cast aluminium alloy and they're hollow.
Yeah.
Again, very easy to drop the tag into the wheel after coating it with epoxy resin. Once the glue's hardened, only way of removing it is to cut the wheel open.
Right.
No residual value.
And of course on the frame there's loads of places you can,
Exactly.
wherever.
Exactly.
Right, but that's the main components, but people pinch and swap and resell body panels. Plastic is very, very expensive on a modern motorcycle.
Very true.
So you protect them by etching a number on it, don't
That's
you?
correct.
I've got one here actually. This is from the CBR 600 that you helped to identify because it was DataTag, but this was actually etched on the inside
Yeah.
of the panel. Now you wouldn't recommend that normally?
No, we wouldn't. We supply a chemical etching system that allows the numbers to be etched to 12 places on the bike onto these very expensive plastic panels. Normally we recommend that the numbers actually etched on the outside.
Right.
And the reason for that is that these panels are often stolen to repair crash bikes. If it has a visible number on the outside, the panel will have to be refurbished and repainted.
Yeah.
Extremely expensive.
Makes it uneconomical for the thief. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but people will say, but I don't want to have little numbers stuck on my bike and it looks a mess, but you can make them very sort of inconspicuous, and it's a small price to pay, I suppose, isn't it?
Exactly. They can be put discreetly on various places without affecting the appearance of the bike, but
Yeah.
certainly affecting the thief's
Massive
interest.
deterrent to a thief, yeah. Right, so do the police have one of these? Do all the police forces have these, or they have access to them, presumably?
Yes, we provide these free of charge to the police,
Yeah.
and we've issued several thousand to police
Because you
forces
see
throughout
police
the country.
at biking events, at shows and rallies, and I've seen police walking around with these and,
That's right.
and checking, you know.
That's
so
right.
it's a good thing. Right, what's it going to cost? Somebody wants to do this? It seems very, very, very good, brilliant. I'm impressed.
Well, it will cost the average motorcyclist to DataTag his bike about £45 plus fitting. It's possible for him to fit it himself and it will take him about an hour, or if a dealer fits it, it'll take about an hour's labour.
And you can easily save that on insurance discounts, can't you? Because there are
Very
many
easy.
insurance companies now that won't touch you, won't even quote you unless you've got DataTag on your bike.
Yeah, perfectly right. If you have a high risk bike, often it has to be tagged to get insurance nowadays.
So data tagging works, it really does work. It makes it easy for the police to let you know that they've got your bike. Just like that, no problem. Not all bikes are data tagged, and if they're not, it's a problem. This man, Dougie J, is the stolen vehicle examiner from round these parts. Dougie, if it's not data tagged, you've got to find out what it really is.
Yeah.
So how do you start to find out what the identity?
What we're really looking for is the same you'd look at, say you were going to go and buy this bike. You'd be wanting to check things like the frame number and the engine number.
Yeah.
So the first thing we're going to do is look at the frame number and decide whether or not we think it's been interfered with. You can do it by looking at it and then also by feeling along there. I mean, quite often if it has been ground out, you'll feel there's an indentation in the metal.
Yeah.
From there we'll look at the engine number and it's the same thing again. You're checking for indentations. Some of the numbers are stamped into a serrated surface, that will be ground flat. A lot of the characters, the letters and the numbers are in a particular style that the manufacturers will use, and it's difficult to copy those.
Right.
So that's another giveaway. Going on from that, if we've looked at it and we've decided that it has been interfered with and we really can't find what the original number was, the only way to do it is really on description. So what we'll do is go to the computer and look for, see how many of this type of bike we've got outstanding. From our point of view, it helps us if you personalise your bike, because what we'll do then is once we've found out that there's X number of bikes, we'll go to the owners and say, we think we may have your bike here, can you describe it to me? If you can tell me that it's got a tank pad on, you've changed the exhaust, you've got braided brake hoses on, anything like that, any small detail, if I can come back to the bike and they're there, then it's worth me saying to you, will you come up and have a look at the bike?
Yeah.
And ultimately the best identification is you standing here saying, yes, this is the bike that was stolen from me.
Right. So, right, okay. So the worst scenario for you is to phone somebody up and say, we think we may have your bike, what is it like? And they say it's bog standard.
Yeah,
that's no good to you, is it?
There must be so many bog standard bikes on the road. Anything that you've done to change it and make it individual to you is a bonus as far as we're concerned.
And the owners, I mean, I know, are normally quite happy to come and do that, are they? Even if they've been paid out, they'll still come and have a look.
The majority will, because at the end of the day, we all want to crack the problem, and if we can put these people where they belong, it removes the problem from the streets. Right.